This is DG Vision Network.
Thank you. Thank you, Hilary. Now, my office as the Executive Commissioner for Stakeholder Management had a very central role to implementation, particularly of the Strategic Vision Plan. When we launched the Strategic Vision Plan this time around, having taken some of the lessons learned from the previous Strategic Vision Plan, which was 2016 to 2020, there are two things which we've added this time around to ensure speedy and requisite implementation of the plan. One of them is that this plan comes with ready-made key performance indicators. Another is that this plan had a clearly set out implementation plan, which has broken the plan down into various actions, various initiatives, and has tagged responsibility for delivering on those initiatives in various departments of the Commission. As the Executive Commissioner for Stakeholder Management, remember I said earlier that my office is very central to the implementation of the Strategic Vision Plan. And why is this? Under the various 5 pillars of the plan, there are various operational initiatives. Now, a number of those initiatives, whether it goes from ensuring that we are exhibiting regulatory excellence, to ensuring that we have requisite infrastructure in place, to ensuring that we have effective stakeholder collaboration. A lot of these things are hinged in departments which this office oversees directly on a day-to-day basis. So, for instance, now that we have the Strategic Vision Plan, the first thing to do, as we've started, is to launch it and then communicate it. When you communicate it so that those who have various roles to play in delivering the plan, or who have a role to play as a stakeholder in the telecoms industry, or whose livelihood or way of living will be impacted by the plan, all are aware of this vision plan and their roles or how it will impact on them. Okay, thank you, Hilary. Now, the Office of the Executive Commissioner for Stakeholder Management, as you know, as I said earlier, has responsibility for day-to-day supervision of 6 departments within the Commission. The first one is the Corporate Planning, Strategy and Risk Management Department. They, as you know, are kind of like the performance monitors of the Commission. So they are the ones who are to take this strategic vision plan and set it into various KPIs, various initiatives, and they are the ones charged with monitoring delivery of the plan. Then, of course, we have the Legal and Regulatory Services Department, who again have various initiatives around developing regulations which will impact on our various stakeholders, whether it be licensees, operators, or ultimately consumers. Then, of course, we have the Licensing and Authorization Department, who have been charged with reviewing all of our operational licenses with a view to ensuring that the services that are rendered within the telecom industry are fit for purpose, are regulatory properly, and offer benefits to our consumers who are the ultimate end users of these services. Again, you have the Zonal Operations Department, who are one of those two departments. I left them and the Consumer Affairs Bureau deliberately for last because in relation to the question you asked, how are we going to deliver this strategic vision to our consumers? The General Operations Department and the Consumer Affairs Bureau are those frontline departments charged with our what we call PI mandate, which is protection, information, and education of consumers of telecommunication services. Hold the operators or other licensees, to task as to why they have not resolved the complaints on behalf of these consumers within requisite time scale. Our founding fathers, in their wisdom, ensured that in our enabling legislation, the Nigerian Communications Act 2003, that something called the Universal Service Provision Fund was created. That fund is meant to be used principally for achieving universal access and connectivity. And I know that under the last strategic vision plan, we had objectives there to ensure that we reduce the number of what we call unserved and underserved areas. And I believe we reduced drastically down to about 114. So currently we have about 114 communities. So initiatives are set out in the strategic vision plan. A lot of it under the Universal Service Provision Fund to fund connectivity in those areas. We are also working, as I said, under the National Broadband Plan to ensure that fiber optic cables are extended into all 774 local governments of this country, and that there's a point of presence in at least one place in each of these 774 local governments. Then further, we have recently introduced regulatory framework which encourages active infrastructure sharing between our telecom operators, as well as introduced national roaming. This initiative means that where, for instance, at the moment you have a community where there is no network provider, with this new initiative, instead of all network providers having to find and fund investment into those areas, if at least one of them goes there, with the active infrastructure sharing and national roaming regulations that we've brought in, it means once one provider is there, any subscribers who have access to that one network can roam on that network, even though their own network does not have access. I believe that all of these three initiatives will help in reducing the digital divide and reducing again the number of unserved and underserved areas we have in the country.
This is DG Vision Network.